Good morning, and welcome to our daily Devo for What's today? Monday, Tuesday, the 16th of June. Pardon me, I just got off a 1 hour and 40-minute Zoom call with people from 6 different countries. Unfortunately, they only spoke Spanish, and so I missed a whole lot of what was being said. But it's an outgrowth of the last World Congress that was had down in Colombia in May, and they put their heads together for those couple of days and came up with some planning that they want to do together and work together and grow the church, the PM church, especially in all of these countries. So I didn't expect it to go that long. So I hope I can still remember how to speak English. Today's devotion is entitled Vocation and the Gospel. Romans 1:17, for in the gospel the righteousness of God is revealed, a righteousness that is by faith from first to last, just as it is written, the righteous will live by faith. The doctrine of justification by faith alone, the foundational commitment of the Protestant Reformation, profoundly shapes the Christian understanding of work. When Protestant reformer Martin Luther grasped that salvation was by grace rather than through any effort of his own, it made him rethink his whole understanding of Scripture, including his view of the meaning of work. Luther found two implications in particular. First, if religious works were crucial to achieving a good standing with God, then there would always be a fundamental difference between those in church ministry and everyone else. But if religious work did absolutely nothing to earn favor with God, it could no longer be seen as superior to other forms of labor. The gospel of salvation through sheer grace holds a second implication for work. While ancient monks may have sought salvation through religious works, many modern people seek a kind of salvation, self esteem and self worth, from career success. This leads us to seek only high paying, high status jobs and to quote unquote worship them in perverse ways. But the gospel frees us from the relentless pressure of having to prove ourselves and secure our identity through work, for we are already proven and secure. It also frees us from a condescending attitude toward less sophisticated labor and from envy over more exalted work. All work now becomes a way to love the God who saved us freely, and by extension, a way to love our neighbor. Vocation and the gospel. Vocation, we know, is what we see ourselves being called to as a regular job. But it has to connect, as Christians, it has to connect with the gospel. I'm not doing it for the purpose of building my self-esteem or growing in my own mind, my own self-worth and all those kinds of things. That doesn't that doesn't please the Lord, nor does it represent him very well at all. And so we do these things, we do what we do as a way to love our neighbor. And that's part two of the great commandment. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And another one just like it, love your neighbor as yourself. And he lets us know if we can keep those two commandments, we've got all of them covered. Because those two, our relationship with God, our relationship with our neighbors, covers all of the Christian life and who we are and what we do and what are our priorities. Are we prideful in what we do, or can we remain humble, Because remember, God's opposed to the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. And so our vocation has to have, as Christians, has to have a part in it that connects to the gospel, the good news. And I've heard this said a number of times to the effect of, if it's not good news for the poor, then it's not good news for anyone. And that's the good news we have to bring. And if we're living our lives in such a way that our neighbors and and friends in general around us see something special in the way we respond to them and their needs and what we're willing to give up for their needs. The gospel has to reek, if that's a proper word to use, in our lives, in our daily interactions with whoever comes our way. And I rather enjoy that. I really enjoy getting to a door of a restaurant or wherever, a store of some kind. Um, Earlier today, it was at the post office. A lady had just finished getting her, I don't know, she mailed something or bought stamps or whatever, and she was headed out just as I was headed in, and I just stand there and hold the door and smile nicely. And that makes people's day. I mean, and it's obviously not hard work doing that, but I like to do that. I like to be friendly. I like to have a smile on my face. I like to get the message across that I see those people as worthy of being cared about, of loving your neighbor. It doesn't have to be a great big hoop-de-doo. It can be the little things. And I think a whole lot, the little things matter more sometimes than the big things that we can do. But it's an easy thing. There are little things that we need to be tuned into that we can do, and it's not hard. It doesn't call for special gifting of any kind, and that's just part of who we are. Our vocation is to follow Christ. And I believe that. I don't think it's, what job we're getting paid hourly for or anything like that. Our vocation is to work for God and to present Him to those that we run into. Um, I go to the bank every Monday morning with my paycheck from the church, and I've gotten to know the folks that work there, and I've really enjoyed this one. There's a lady there that she doesn't work as a teller. She works doing other things at a desk off to the side, and somebody told me she's originally from some Spanish speaking country. She has a slight accent, but what I like to do, and I did it today as I was leaving, she was saying, goodbye to me, have a good day. And I answered back in Spanish because there was another lady there. She doesn't speak Spanish, but I just said, Buen dia todos, which is everybody, have a good day. And they got a good laugh out of that. I just enjoy doing those kinds of things. And to me, that's letting them know I care about you. I don't, I'm not going to not talk to you or anything like that. But it does reflect that we have a heart for other people. And I think that's part of our vocation every day. I know Rodney's been talking about this guy he met at the park and the relationship he struck out with him just out of walking together in the park. And it's made a lot of difference in that man's life. I think it's made a lot of difference for Rodney too. He enjoys it, and that's good. I appreciate that about Rodney. Um, but this is who we are. It's what we're called to not just do, but what we're called to be for those around us. So blessings to you today on this Tuesday morning. I'm trying. I'm all confused on my calendar here, and take time to do good to your neighbors and show them the love of Christ in you and through you.